Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. So I'm here to introduce a new project for my channel for 2018. It's going to be a palette of the month challenge. And for this challenge, it's going to go on for the first part of the year because I don't have that many palettes, but I'm going to be using a different palette or combination of palettes for every month. So at the beginning of each month, I will kind of share my experience of using the palette of the month from the prior month, and then I'll kind of introduce the palette that I'm going to be using for the next month. And I kind of decided to do this towards the end of 2017 just because I decided that panning a single palette really wasn't for me. In 2017, I kind of started off the year sort of wanting to work on my Urban Decay Naked palette, and I used up a few of the shades from this palette, and then I switched my focus to the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. My original plan with this was to start panning it in 2017 and then to pan it all throughout 2018, but I kind of decided that as much as panning a palette seems like a good idea, and I watch other people's pan that palettes, I just kind of decided it wasn't for me. I would rather sort of get used and rotate through all of my palettes versus just focusing on a single one. So that's where I kind of came up with the idea to do a palette of month, and I'll kind of structure it similarly to how I did my pan that palette. I'll do kind of monthly updates. I'll talk about the palette, my experience with the palette, but then I'll move on to another palette. So for the first month, for January, I will be focusing on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. This was one of the reasons why I decided I wanted to do this project. I got this palette for my birthday in 2017, and I had used it a few times, but I wasn't getting to use it as much as I really wanted to. So instead of just focusing on an older palette, I really wanted to get use out of some of my new stuff especially. So I'm sure everyone knows what this palette looks like. I did start using this in December once I had my kind of finale video for my pan that palette for my Naked 2 palette. I started using this, but I will be focusing on this more in January, and I really like this palette. It has some really great sort of neutral shades, or like more everyday shades, and then also has the more dramatic like berries and orange colors. So I really like this. I've liked exploring it so far, and I'm really excited to use it more in January. Kind of my only stipulation with doing this challenge is to use all of the shades. I pretty much use eyeshadow every day, so I don't know if I'll be that strict, like I have to use it every day, but I want to solely focus on this palette, use all the shades, and then I will report back sort of my thoughts on the different shades and combinations in February. But that will be the first palette that I'll be focusing on, and then I will share the rest of the palettes that I have and kind of my thoughts for using them. At this point, I haven't decided which month I'm going to use each palette. I'm kind of going to decide as kind of I go on when I feel inspired to use every palette, but I will share the palettes that I have. And as I said, I don't have a ton of palettes. I think I have 7. Yes, I have 7 in total, but I will combine some of the palettes together versus doing 7 months worth of this challenge. So I have the Urban Decay Naked palettes. I have the original Naked palette and the Naked 2 and 3. So this one I have used up a lot of the shades. So from the original Naked palette, and then I have Naked 2. So I think I might combine these because I can't get a ton of looks with what I have left with the Naked palette. So I might combine the original Naked and Naked 2 for one of the months of the challenge. I do have the Naked 3 palette. This one I think I used a handful of times, maybe once or twice last year, but I really love this palette as well. But you can see I haven't even hit pan on anything, so I definitely will use the Naked 3 palette for one of the months of the challenge. Then I have a palette from Makeup Forever. It's one of the 9 pan artist shadow palettes. It's the number 1 one. It's the more nude one. So this one I think I got for Christmas in 2015, but I just haven't used it a ton. But this one I think I would pair with my little Urban Decay Naked Basics 2. because this is all like matte shades, where this is a lot more of like shimmers. So I think these could pair really well together. They're both very not neutral, but very like nude type of shades. So I think these could pair really well together. So I think I would do that for one of the months. And then finally, I would use my Urban Decay. It's the 15th anniversary palette. I've had this one for a while, but it is kind of a fun palette. I mean, it has a lot of like fun colors with some more like neutral shades, but this has a lot of shimmer as well. So I think I'd pair this as well with the Naked 2 Urban Decay Basics palette. So even though I have 7 palettes with the combinations, that would come out to like 5 different months of this challenge. So that's kind of my goal, is to have this challenge for the first 5 months of the year, and then maybe I can do some other sort of eyeshadow challenge as the year goes on. But that is everything. That's the kickoff for this project. I'm definitely looking forward to being able to use like all of my eyeshadow. So I'm really excited about that, and I will be back next month with my kind of update on my Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and I will reveal the next palette or combination of palettes that I will be using for February. So that is everything. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.